Let me make sure video is going to be good. All right, we are live.
Oh,
This is the day, one of the few days that everybody keeps quoting on their on their phone, on their lives, on the Twitter, is that this is the day that since 26 years ago, this is the first time that the Browns have been in the playoffs or gotten further into the playoffs.
we were victorious, Anthony.
Yes, we were. It was amazing.
We were victorious. Now, let's make this a personal story, right? So that people don't just think this is football talk.
Yeah.
Because to me, the story of the Browns right now, I'm attached to my actual life, like in an almost religious way, and like I don't even use that like lightly. Like I'm dead fucking serious.
Yeah.
So the year that I lost everything because of my own dumbass choices and all the mistakes I made, the Browns also lost everything. And by everything, I mean every motherfucking game.
Yeah.
They were 0-16 that season. And when they lost everything and I lost everything, I was like, this would be a good time to become a Browns fan. And like perhaps we can like chart our progress together and I can compare myself to how they're doing and like be inspired by like their growth as a team.
Yeah.
And so last season, when they had a really competitive season, they didn't make it to the playoffs, but they were very competitive. I was inspired by that. And in this season, they make it to the playoffs, and as soon as they did, everyone's like, "Well, that's the end of the ride, right? Like,
Right.
okay, good job."
Yeah.
But next time you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're gonna have fucking Ben Roethlisberger, and he's gonna fucking blow down on everybody. He's gonna fuck you guys up. And I have friends here who like to play sports bets. You know, they
Yeah.
place bets on these games, some for small sums, some for large sums, and not one of these motherfuckers bet that the Browns would win. And so in my DMs, I'm getting before the game, I'm getting all these like blah 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 blah, and I'm like, you guys don't know my city. You motherfuckers don't know our hearts. And I don't know much about football. Like I know as much as like the absolute average fan, right? Enough to follow the game and be excited, but not enough to question the coach's choices, right?
Right.
Like to deeply question them, to be like, I don't know, I would have done this. Like, bitch, I don't know any X's and O's, right? But I know when a motherfucker is offsides. I know the difference between offsides and a false start. Like, I
Right.
can watch the game without feeling like a complete fucking idiot,
Yeah.
right? But I can't like really go into depth like I should be on Sports Center about what happened there. But I do know that a team that I feel a deep emotional connection to pulled through. And even people I was in a room with were like, this isn't going to go the right way.
Oh
Like, there's
yeah.
something bad's going to happen.
Oh
Something
yeah.
bad's going to happen. And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
come on. Like, it's not going to be bad. Like, we're going to win. Like, we're going to win. And so I'm excited that they pulled it off. And hats off to the Cleveland Browns. It's a wonderful day for Clevelanders, even ones who are not in the city, even ones who are like me. I'm gonna call us the expats.
The
You know,
nomads.
like
The
we're
nomads.
essentially
The
the nomad
nomad.
chapter of the Cleveland Browns fans. You know, it's a good time to be excited about Cleveland football.
It was crazy. Like what's funny is that like as you said that is like I don't watch football just as much as you don't watch football, and so but like I was just like, oh, okay. From what everybody says, it sounds like this is a game for Steelers to lose. And I go over to people's houses. They're like, hey, this is good. Maybe if the Browns win, but probably not going to happen. People that are like diehard fans for years on Twitter, I text them like,
Pessimist.
I'm like, how do you think about this? It's like it's crazy that they're up. They're up this much, but they're the team that would most likely give it away. And then they were like, they lose it. It's like, well,
Pessimism.
I'm like,
But like, look,
you guys should believe.
you can argue that habitual failure breeds pessimism.
Yeah.
I just don't have that mindset. I think if you've done enough to get to the top level of your sport, that at any time you're capable of winning. So like I don't buy into odds. I don't buy into these ideas because I know that at the end of the day, odds are just like ideas. They need execution. And so if one team is playing another team, everybody on that field belongs to be in the league that they are in.
Yeah.
It's just about who's going to perform today. And there's no reason to think that because they had a shitty performance one day, they'll have a shitty performance today. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Like, they wouldn't have gotten to the level that they're at. There's a chance that they could win. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting millions of dollars to fucking play the sport.
Right.
So, like, it doesn't make sense. But, like, I understand how that psychology can happen and how that psychology can protect your sensitive feelings. Like, you don't want to risk the heartbreak of watching them fuck it up. So you tell yourself, they might fuck it up. You know, they're probably going to fuck it up. So then you can be surprised when they don't and it feels good.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What was the best thing about it was like walking out in the streets like right before the game started, and then like I didn't get to watch the first touchdown, but you heard it. Like you just hear this guy like yeah, 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 yeah. Like he's just going off for like 3 minutes. I'm like, what is this guy screaming about? I check my phone. I'm like, oh, understand now. Yeah, this guy. You could see some people woke up.
I did a little screaming too when that happened, but then I had a private lesson.
Yeah.
Right during the game, and so like I was getting updates. Like Hayes would open the door and be like, blah 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 blah. Like it's going down.
It's going down.
And the guy that I was teaching, he bet against the Browns, and so we were ragging him the whole time.
Hey man, why don't you double and pick up your money?
Like I said, it was a good day to be us.
That's so funny.
It was a good day to be us. So yeah, a beautiful day for Cleveland.
Yes.
So I had a chance over the last couple of days to check out Lex Friedman's podcast.
Yeah.
And Lex Friedman is a jiu-jitsu black belt who's also in the field of AI and is at MIT. So he's at the top of his field in AI. And he has an interesting podcast where he has interesting guests, both from that field, but also martial artists. And he had who I think is the greatest coach of wrestling of all time on his podcast, Dan Gable. You could also argue that Dan Gable is the greatest wrestler of all time. He's in the conversation for sure.
Yeah.
And Gable, he said many things, right?
Yeah.
Lots and lots of impactful shit in that episode. So like, if you're listening or watching this episode of the podcast, like, and you have a chance to check that out, Lex Friedman interviewing Dan Gable, go fucking do that. Like, do that immediately. Like, stop listening to me and go fucking do that, and then come back and listen to me again. Like, you and Anthony can have a conversation after you listen to it.
Yeah.
But they came up into the topic of how he reacted to his loss to Larry Owings, and he thought that like what was missing from him was the idea of being more of a scientist and an artist. And way back when I first started making videos, I actually made a video about this. And I said that everybody has like a scientist, an artist, and a warrior inside them, and I called it like the SAW principle.
Aaron.
Yeah.
There's the whittled branch.
A what?
The whittled.
Wait, I'll open that. Hold on 1 second. Hold
Yeah.
on 1 second. The podcast is interrupted for good shit.
Oh shit, my bad.
No, it's good. It's good. It just makes things funnier.
Oh, is it?
Oh, shit. Live on television.
What's up?
All right, so do you want to go with just at 3 o'clock?
I can.
If you want to, because she's gonna get ready.
But I'll stay here.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That was audio.
Cool, brother.
All right.
All right, schedules have been made.
Nice.
So yeah, a long time ago, I made a video about this concept, and it's on a YouTube channel I no longer even use, but it's out there.
Yeah.
If you find it, you find it. And I was asking people. I called it, actually, I remember it now. I called it your SAW level, and the idea was that everyone had like a percentage out of 100% of you. You could break down the percentages of like what part of you is a scientist, what part of you is an artist, and what part of you is a warrior. Right? And so it was like, it was interesting to have Gable talk about the exact same concept, like, and even use the same verbiage. But that makes me beg the question, Anthony. When you heard him talking about that, did you
Yeah.
think about yourself at all, or were you just listening?
So when I first heard about it, I was thinking, actually, honestly, so this is how my brain works. 'Cause I'm so brainwashed by you. Is I think about you first, and then think about myself. So I'm like, oh, this is what Dan.
Stop.
So I'm like, oh, this is what, like this is what Darren's like talking all the time about wanting to be like, being more of an artist or being like, feeling like the ability to be free, to be creative, to trying new things. And what was like weird about this is because I also, after I watched that, I think the same time, I somehow got switched onto the like Braulio Estima, like the documentary that dude's doing that like steals money from people in jiu-jitsu supposedly.
What?
So I gotta find. We can talk about this if this is some. I'll look it up real quick while we're talking. But yeah, I think I'm more of like I like being an artist and a scientist more than anything else because I think I like being a scientist for sure more because I like repetition. I like being able to have a clear cut start and a stop, and it makes sense. And you need those things to exist. And then I think the artist part is where you can be like, all right, you know where the start and stop is supposed to be. Now let's just rub away those lines and figure out how far you can actually go before you really hit the true start and stop. Or if you're wrong about the start and stop. I like being able to do both.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the process, my order is I want to be scientist, then become an artist.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I'm definitely an artist. Science inspires me.
Mm-hmm.
And at my best, I can find some warrior in me, but I'd be lying if I was like, that's who I am. And anyone that knows me would know that.
Right.
It's only something that that warrior part is only something I can access at the very, very best of me. But like, I'm constantly in an artistic mind frame, and I'm always looking towards science to build the art off of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just do things to do them. Like Rick James. I don't just do things to do them.
Yeah. It's like I'm Rick James. I don't do that.
But yeah, so I want to be guided by scientific information, but then I want to feel free with it. I want to feel free. That's the whole thing I'm seeking in life in general. So of course, I seek that on the fucking mat too. Like who you are in real life is who you are on the mat too.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's yeah.
It expresses itself. Like even if you try to hide.
Yeah.
Like it'll show who you really are. So like the weaknesses in my character will be reflected on the mat, as well as the strengths of my character will be reflected on the mat. Like you can't run away from who you really are.
Yeah.
If you're someone trying to strangle you, you can't.
Yeah.
You'll confront yourself relatively quickly, and then make decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I decide to turn that warrior on, and sometimes I do not.
Yeah.
So like it's important to know who you really fucking are.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up lying to yourself about who you are.
No, that's true. The thing that so I found the thing. It was that Strout Cooper guy that allegedly didn't like
Stewart.
Stewart, yeah, whatever his name is, yeah, Stewart Cooper. Allegedly, that's why I try to say Strout, so that way you can't sue us. Stewart Cooper, he
Allegedly,
didn't got money from a bunch of people to make a documentary about some parts of jiu-jitsu, and he never finished the film or finished the concept or refunded the people, and he never addressed it ever since that point.
Okay.
Or if he does, he's just like, it's just like fuck you. So he did like a little thing with Braulio Estima, which first off I gotta say is, why are dudes like doing like jiu-jitsu on the beach? Like stop it. That's played out. That's like disco in the 90s. It's just played out. You just don't do that anymore. So it's like, why do you have to do like judo throws and like flying arm bars and all this stuff? And you gotta wear a gi. It's stupid. But like,
bro, let's go to the beach and train, bro.
You're right, and it's like the nice beach too. But the one thing I did take away from
it's gonna look good on the footage.
The one thing
put everything in slow motion with the sun in the background. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
not wrong.
You don't really do that.
No, but I will say.
And if you do, I think you should probably see a doctor.
Maybe you got the coolest tan ever. But
you got a gi tan. You see how ridiculous that even sounds?
Exactly. You just got like
you just have like this little patch of chest that's really brown.
Yeah, or like just like
the rest of you stark white.
Or just that like little line right here in the shirt, and then maybe like a little bit down, like just like a little strip. But
no, dude, if you're on the beach, you ain't wearing no rash guard.
No, yeah, you just like you're going either you're wearing a surf rash guard or you're just going bare chest. But the thing, he said something similar to that, where he was like when it's time to get ready for a competition, I train, I train. I make sure everything I hit works, and it works all the time. It never not works. And then he's like, but when the competition's over, I take the time to explore, to become a different person, to change up how I approach my game, to learn new things, because it's one thing to know a move. At black belt, like, everybody knows a move. You call out a move, they know the move. But it's how you get to the end of the move. And like, if they never see you move like that before and you move like that on them, you're gonna beat them. And that's how.
Look, man.
Yeah, that's how he thinks
that's
about
real shit.
That's real. I was like, damn. That's,
and when you think about the way that he innovates his finishes,
yeah,
like that, it's reflected in that statement.
Yeah,
like that's a guy who is hitting like reverse triangles on people at Abu Dhabi when nobody was doing it.
Right.
He has a footlock named after him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was named after him toward like in like the recent history of his career, not like at the beginning.
Right.
So he was working on things that influenced the game to the point where we all know it and know it's by his name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that makes a lot of sense to me. Like that's not just shit talk. That's not just someone saying those things. That's someone that does that work.
Yeah.
And at the highest level.
Yeah.
So shout out to Braulio.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah.
A solid sheet.
It was.
Solid sheet.
It was like oh yeah, that's just how I should be training more often. It's like I should just train, like when I'm thinking about stuff, when I'm thinking about competing, I should just compete as if I'm just gonna murder people. And then when it's time to be like, you know, have fun, because every other day you should just be having fun. You shouldn't really be trying to train hard. Honestly, if you're not competing for anything, you should just kind of chilling out and just having fun there.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's like
focused fun.
Yeah, focused fun. Like, oh, I'm just doing this.
Focused fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to just be like off in the clouds having fun, but like I want to be engaged and happy that I'm there. Like this is why like I think of jiu-jitsu as a fucking lifestyle sport, like surfing or skateboarding, like mountain biking. Like you should be doing it because it's a fucking blast, not because you have something coming up.
Right.
Like there's times to do that if you're a competitive person, but like if that's the only reason that you get to the mat, I don't know how long you can sustain it.
It's hard. It's hard to do it unless you're only just trying to like be the best ever. Then I get it. But if you're not, and you're just Joe Schmo.
But even then, you're only gonna do that for a period.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get done with jiu-jitsu.
And then it's gonna shift.
Yeah.
Like now you might be the best ever at coaching your sport, or now you might take that same attitude into a business. Right? But like, it's like fucking think about who was I just fucking think Gable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who's more driven than that guy?
The dude's an animal.
But at a certain point, he wasn't fucking wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
And then a point after that, he had double hip surgery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, at a certain point, like, that competitive guy has to put his competitiveness into something else. Like creating the best program or creating a program that builds businesses for ex-wrestlers. Right? Like, there's got to be somewhere where that energy goes, but it's not always going to be on being the best.
Right.
So, like, if you're doing that in jiu-jitsu, which, unlike wrestling, because you can't wrestle your whole life, in a way that is easy, right? Like, in a way that is easy to do. Like, you can't just go to a fucking club when you're 50.
Yeah.
And expect to wrestle. You can't do that. It's not going to work out. But you could put on a gi for the first time at 50 and find a new hobby, a new sport that would last you the rest of your life. Like, you could do that.
Yeah.
And so since it's unique that way, you should really exploit that aspect and like make sure you never put yourself in a situation where you're like going to resent it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you know, I'm only one guy. I don't know everything. But like, I do know that I want to be on the mat for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And I think that's the path. I think thinking of it as a fun lifestyle sport is the path to doing it forever.
No, I agree. So speaking of that topic though, because I don't remember where I heard it from, but it was, oh wait, there's so much jiu-jitsu stuff I've got to talk to you about that I saw a while back. Like, did you see that Henner post about like, you know, if you feel like it's a fight or a struggle to go to your school, like this is like the wrong school for you?
Oh, no, but I think there's some sense to that.
No, so I agree with like, so like if you just read the advertisement, I would agree with that. But then like he gets, I gotta find it up. Henner, before I get myself in trouble. Henner.
How could you possibly be in trouble? Is he gonna come for you? He's gonna be like, Anthony. He's gonna knock on your door.
But you know, everybody who likes this guy is gonna come. He's gonna be like, "Hey, man, you can't be talking about my boy like that." You know what he said? Let's see. What is this?
You can have a difference of opinion.
So, if you feel like you have to survive your school, you're at the wrong school. Tell me what city you're in, and let's work together to devise a plan that will save your jiu-jitsu future. If you don't figure this out, you'll end up quitting for the third and not likely final time. Let's see. Oh, so this is the actual message is like the one that bothered me. This is one of the most common DMs I get, and it always hurts. It's amazing how the martial art that our grandmasters designed to empower the weak against the strong is taught so poorly at BJJ schools around the world, and that it deters the very people that it was intended to serve. If this has happened to you, don't give up. There is hope. If you order your favorite pizza and it shows up folded and crumpled in a box, you don't blame the pizza, you blame the delivery man who dropped it. Similarly, if you commit yourself to learning jiu-jitsu and it ends up being one of the worst experiences to your life, jiu-jitsu is not to blame, rather the instructor who had no clue how to introduce you to this amazing art in a safe, structured, and encouraging manner is at fault. I think that's bullshit. Jiu-jitsu is for everyone. You can't say that. I'm sorry. Jiu-jitsu is not for everyone. We can't agree on we can't agree on what jiu-jitsu is. I'm sorry. We can't. We cannot agree on what jiu-jitsu is. Nobody can agree on it. So that's a stupid thing to say. And to say that this is the instructor's fault is a very like gross thing to say, because you know it's not true.
See, I tend to agree with him on this actually, because you should at least be able to truly serve the client. So like, if you can tell that you have one style of school, right? So say like you're a grinder school where like everybody there is just trying to get good at scrapping.
Yeah.
Right? And then you show up there and you get thrown into a fucking meat grinder and you get fucked up all the time. And you're like, man, this is not me. Right?
Uh-oh, we lost you for a second. We're losing you. Stop talking. You're going away. There you go. I think you're back now.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Like someone in the room when you're there getting your ass kicked in this meat grinder should be there to be like, hey, this isn't the right environment for you. There's a school that's more self-defense oriented, that teaches Elio's system. That might be more your style. I think that's what you're looking for. I think that's what you want to get out of this experience. Like, I don't think that, I do think it's a bit self-serving, right? Because like what it ends up doing is saying like, what you really need is our style program.
Right.
Right. But that's who he's talking to. I don't think he's telling everyone that goes to a school that's grinding. But if it's like, you don't like that shit, that's not all that jiu-jitsu is. I think that's an okay message, especially when you are selling a fucking product at the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't think he's wrong. I think there is a responsibility that people have when they notice that somebody is struggling to either get them to the level where they'll no longer struggle the same way, right? Where they have enough skills and enough defense to get through the situation without feeling like a piece of shit every day, or to guide them to another place that might suit their needs better, right? Like, if you're not an athletic guy and you're in your 50s and you show up to a school where it's like all 25-year-old blue belts are trying to become the best guys,
yeah,
you might not have a good fucking time. And somebody should be like, hey, before you start rolling with these people, you should know their intents, like their intentions and what they're trying to do with their jiu-jitsu. And like, if that's not going to suit your needs, perhaps we can suggest this place to you. Like, I never tried to sell my place to someone who I thought it did not suit.
Yeah.
I would steer them somewhere else. Like, you don't need every individual's money. You just need money.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I understand, like, no one's going to agree on what jiu-jitsu is. But, like, we can agree that, like, there is a need to serve who comes to the door. And that person could be served not necessarily by you, But if you can't give them the service that they obviously need, you should steer them somewhere else, and that's a good service in itself.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that like this person for some reason thinks that and as you do, thinks that people are more intelligent than they actually are, and that they can't tell that their shit doesn't smell. So it's like you're saying that a lot of people who get that feeling are gonna be like, I'll recognize that and be like, hey, you know what? Actually, this isn't for you. This should be somewhere else. It's like a lot of people suck at their job, and even people that they're doing the job that they think is their dream job. So like, yeah, like
Very true.
yeah. I'm like I just don't see that happening. I'm like just say that. I would just be like, listen, like there's a certain style of school. Because some people will just be flat out and think that, like, if you say, for example, if you compared, like, Henry Gracie's teaching to somebody who's, like you said, Mr. Grindy Smashy. Mr. Grindy Smashy may think that's just bullshit. Like, that's just not even real school. Like, that's nonsense. Like, I don't
Well,
believe...
that's his opinion.
Right, but that's the guy. Like, that's the guy you're asking to tell him that. That's the guy you're asking. There's a lot of those guys that exist. It's
Okay,
like...
respect,
and there's-
respect.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't see why you can't have both models in your head. I have these models in my head. They're
Yes,
just separate.
But you're not. That's because as much as you like to say, is like you're actually a very intelligent person for how much credit you give yourself. A lot of people are not that smart to admit that they don't know things or not know things or know what they know. So it's like you take inventory of what you know. Not a lot of people do that actually. So let's.
Well, they should.
Yeah, of course I agree. We agree with that. Yeah,
They should. It's not even hard.
it's not.
It's not even hard.
It's not.
It's just like see another perspective. See how someone else could be right, and you're not wrong by them being right.
I get it.
Right? Like, just serve people, man. Like, just like you're serving the guy that comes to the door that wants to kill everybody, serve the other guy too. And you can serve him by steering him away instead of being like, hey guys, fresh meat.
It's like, hey man, nah. Everybody, some people only speak one language. What was I gonna say? What else is going on?
That's a good point.
What is it? What else are we gonna talk about? Oh, I guess we can talk about the potential.
So there's something on my mind for sure.
Oh,
But what?
I was gonna talk about Conor McGregor.
Oh, so was I.
There you go.
But the reason I wanted to talk about him is because I heard Dana mention him.
Yeah.
And I was watching Brett Okamoto from ESPN
Mm-hmm.
speak to Dana, and Dana saying like, essentially like, look, we're not about to get some bullshit Conor off the couch who's been partying and shit. We're getting this Conor that doesn't give a fuck. We're going back to 2015 where he's like, I don't care who it is. I want to be there. What it do?
Yeah.
And looking to get a spectacular finish in fast fashion. And that's the guy I want to see. That's the guy I'm looking forward to watching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I think is showing up. And I thought that guy was showing up before Dana told me that. I thought that guy was showing up when I was just daydreaming about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Because this is a great time to shine. We're going to have an audience. And when I say we, it's because I'm going to be at that event. Because we're the third fight from the end of the night. Jess is going to smack Joanne Calderwood. And then there'll be a co-main and then Conor's fight.
Yeah.
So I will be in Abu Dhabi for that moment, which in itself is kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Because it's no secret that I'm a huge Conor mark,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's no secret that I'm a Conor mark to the tune of I'm in a commercial on the UFC Fight Pass and on ESPN briefly of me screaming when Conor beat up Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
So like, it is clearly known that I have feelings about this Irishman. But it's exciting to know that people that are close to the situation are just as excited as I am.
Yeah.
So what did you want to say about Mr. McGregor?
Oh, about what happens if he wins?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, I can tell you.
So I guess there's speculation that Khabib doesn't want to fight Conor. I've heard that.
Right, but so
I've also heard that he was willing to fight the winner of the fight regardless. So what have you heard?
I've heard Dana wants Conor to fight whoever's the highest ranked guy. After this fight, whoever's highest ranked, he fights that guy for the belt, and the belt's his.
Okay. So Dana was one of the people that wasn't conceding that Khabib was done,
Yeah.
or at least done in the short term, and hadn't released his title,
Yeah.
and said he didn't plan to because Khabib was coming back.
Yeah.
So that's a change of tune. That's a change of tune. Like, but that's a lot of time that happens in between those events, right? So Conor fights on the 23rd and wins. Say he knocks out Mr. Poirier in spectacular fashion, which I believe he will, right? How soon after that does he fight?
So it's probably predicated on if they for sure know if Khabib is retired, because what it says is like if Khabib is retired, if Khabib is not retired, how can we not have him fight Conor?
You could have him fight a super fight at 170 with GSP,
You could.
and then that vacates the title in
Yeah.
a reasonable fashion,
Khabib-
and still keeps you Khabib.
Khabib, you saw.
You a super fight to sell.
Yeah, you said Khabib versus GSP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the move. And then Conor beats up whoever's the highest ranked guy for the belt. And then Khabib can decide if he would like to do that rematch and blow up the entire world. Because that's what it would do.
That would be.
If Khabib beat GSP and Conor McGregor has the title,
Yeah.
the world would explode on the box office. Like the pay-per-views would go through the goddamn roof.
It's like, what do you think? What do you think?
Pandemonium.
This fucking coward, as soon as I come back, he go running. He go running away. Up there fighting GPS. Fighting GPS. He can't find him. Where is he? Where?
I'm just saying, that would be spectacular. And I hope it happens. I hope it happens. I hope all of those things happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, it's funny you said that because I think there is some articles about George talking about, hey, I'm getting a little, getting a little restless. I'm kind of getting a little. I miss the feeling of winning.
He's just keeping his hat in the ring. It's
He's
intelligent.
like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm getting a little. He's out here pushing snow.
He's just trying to keep his name in everybody's heads, as he should.
This dude's an animal.
As he fucking
This
should.
dude's an animal. He shoveled a 400-meter track just so he could run on it.
Who?
GSP. It snowed in Canada, and that's what he did.
That's animal behavior.
Yeah, he's just like, I want to run.
Now we're talking about a lane, though, right? Like a lane.
Yeah, a lane, but still, it's still 400 meters.
I mean, it's still, I get it. I'm just making sure that he didn't shovel the entire goddamn track because
Yeah.
I was maybe gonna climb to the top of my house and jump off of it. That was the case. Oh my god. Incredible. First of all, that might be the greatest shovel I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's a great shovel. It's almost like it's supposed to be like like you're a horse.
I'm kind of hoping I'll never need one ever again in my life.
That's not true.
But if I were to need one, I think I want it to look like that.
Yeah, you just push.
It was like a stroller.
Yeah, it's like you just, and then you gotta lift with your chest. Ugh.
It's so much better than like
Bend with your
the
knees.
single handle. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No more of that shit.
I'm
It's
not-
for the birds.
I'm not cool with that either.
Now that we know about this shit,
It's over.
no more games.
It's over. It's over.
No more games. Do you have any weird news for me?
Oh, of course I do. So we have sad and weird, or like silly and creepy. What do you want?
Let's go silly and creepy.
Silly and creepy. Okay. So let me share my screen. So Danish kids show. I guess let me share it with the audience too first. I'm leaving you guys in suspense now.
Dun, dun.
Let's see if I can do this right. Get this out of here.
I love the musical interludes.
Let's see
Dude.
if we get this thing stretch. There we go. There we go. Blah blah. Start sharing. I'll share you. Oh, because it's unavailable right now.
Naughty.
Oh, that's lame. I cannot. I can share it to you. Okay, cool. There you go. Start
Beautiful. Don't be a tease.
sharing. Danish kid show about man with magic penis is innocent and goofy, says TV critic.
Whoa. And just like that, we are banned again. The TV critic here, I don't know.
John Dillerman, which roughly
you can't
translates
do
to
this.
John Wienerman.
He's
I gotta
you can't do,
watch this. Watch this. Look at this.
you can't do this. No. Oh my god. Now, are we certain that this is actually a kids show?
Let's see. I've seen this article like several times about like this show. Let me-
Because like is Mr. Bill a kids show?
What's Mr. Bill?
Like Mr. Bill was a little cartoon that was on SNL, and like it would get squished, and like, but it was just a little claymation thing. That's what made me think about it. Like the animation looks relatively similar. It reminds me of it. It's a little more updated, obviously, but like, is this truly intended for children, or is this something that like is made for adults in a childlike format?
No, this series is aimed at 4 to 8 year olds and was developed by a Danish public broadcasting director in association with Sex Education Association Sex and Semfun. It premiered in January 2021 on DR's Children Channel.
Okay, I'm not a Puritan, right? I'm not. I don't have values that are like anti-sex. I'm not like some weirdo Victorian. However, I don't think I'm ready for a show about a giant wavy dick that can do tricks and take balloons and throw you into the air. I'm not ready for that. Like, if I had children between the ages of 4 and 8, they would not be watching that quote-unquote children's TV show. I don't think it's appropriate. I think it's super weird. And but, you know, I'm not Danish. So maybe there's a whole culture that, and a whole history that I'm not aware of, that would make that a lighter topic or an easier topic to present than I'm aware of. So that's my disclaimer. Like, I do not know your culture, but I would not welcome that into my life.
Yeah. He's basically saying yeah. That's what's going on in the Danish world. Was it called Danland? Is it
Wow.
where do the Danish live?
They live in Denmark.
Denmark. That's right. I forgot. I remember that story. I read about it. About a Jewish young lady who was hiding from Nazis.
Or Holland as well, I think.
Yes,
I think you can be.
You can be in the Hollands, or you can be in Denmark. Denmark sounded like a cool place to be. But yeah, like yeah.
It did until I found out about this.
Oh, so his name is
No,
his name is Penis Man technically. So it's enough. So it's like you could definitely tell his mate. So I see what they like this. They call him Penis Man, like a childish term for penis with a man attached to it. So Wiener Man. So the name itself is enough to make children laugh because anytime you say wiener, it's funny. He lives with his great grandmother, who is the old, conservative, a bit scared lady. Like, put that away, John. You can't go showing your penis. You can't use that to pick apples. You can't use that to walk the dog.
Oh, I kind of see the point, actually. But no.
Yeah.
No, I'm still not ready. These are private conversations.
Cannot take
so
it.
it's like a TV show about what's appropriate and what's not. It's
Yeah.
like, but like, it's, again, no. The whole thing is inappropriate, so that's how you know it's. I can't. Oh my God, Anthony, you just fucked up my whole day.
Oh, you want to hear the worst part about it? So let's keep going. And because of this, so it's like, for instance, the penis. So I gotta start back at the beginning. So where's the beginning start? It's so it's short and long, and sometimes you can't see it. And it can pick apples from trees, and it can pick up the neighbor if he's being a pain in the butt. And then, for instance, the penis wants an ice cream, and the grandmother says, "No, you cannot take an ice cream." And then they go to the zoo, and it sees an ice cream truck, and it steals an ice cream. And because of this, a lion gets out and chases the children around. And John is about to say, "Oh, I can't handle this. I'll go away and leave it to someone else." But then he's like, "No, I have to handle this. I have to take care of this problem." And then his penis is slapping the lion, so it goes back in. There you go. So there's that. And then we have the more sadder one, which is Florida man robbed graves of veterans because they have stronger spirits, says sheriff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was the religion that these people practice?
They don't think they
Did they state it?
I don't think so. The two men are behind bars with deputies for was a grave robbing for ritualistic purposes, targeting veterans' burial sites because the spirit is much stronger in a hero. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. Whoa. That's some hard work. I just,
Yeah, those dudes have those like super dead scary people eyes. So I would steer clear of them and whatever cult they're in. I
oh,
was just curious.
oh,
Like
Palo Mayobi Shrine? A Palo Mayobi Shrine? That's what that means.
it's like, let's find out what that is.
It's a Cuban thing. Is a Los Religos de Congo is a religion with various denominations which developed in Cuba among enslaved Central African people and the descendants who originated in the Congo Basin. Denominations refer
It's
to-
our fault.
It's kind of is. So let me see what they look like. So images. I want to see the statue. So they got. Oh, okay. That's rough.
Oh wow.
That's a shrine. So that's what that is. So it must be shrines of dude skulls in a pot with a bundle of sticks and possibly nails.
But there have to be people who are willing to give up their skulls for their religion, and then there have to also be ways to obtain skulls legally. It seems ridiculous if that was your just like, this is my religious practice. Like, well, desecration and
Whoa.
robbery are not good ways to like make sure that you can have freedom to do your religious practice. Like you got a giant hole in your fucking in your strategy here. Like you can't just be out here robbing graves so that you can make your shrine. Like you have to fucking obtain your weird shit legally, and then you can do whatever you want with it. You know, then nobody would have blown down in your house like that. That's fucked up.
Yeah, like they get really into it. They're like, before the men vandalized the grave sites, they drank Bacardi rum, spit it out on the ground, then they would smoke a cigar, then exhale the smoke to protect them from the spirits.
Yeah, I've seen Major League.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
this is very interesting.
I know about Jobu.
I'm like, whoa. When asked why a hero's grave, it says, and also when you have the skull of a hero, the spirit is not only stronger, but it can protect you from evil. And
Yeah, because you're gonna need a lot of protection when you're fucking stealing shit, fucking breaking things that aren't yours and taking things that aren't yours. And then, like, if that item is sacred to you, don't you think it's sacred to the person that placed it there too? Like, one would think that, like, even if there's darkness to your religious practice, right? That, like, at the heart of your religion would still be some sense of goodness, right? So, like, even if you're, like, practicing some super dark magic, that, like, there has to be some good, and therefore there would have to be some kind of balancing out for how you're fucking stealing shit and robbing shit, like, breaking things and...
it gets much darker than that. Let's see. What did he say? When the Lopez
Are they murderers?
No, not like that. It's just the way that their thought process. When Lopez was questioned, Judge said he referred to cemeteries as holy sites and shopping centers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gets dark. He considers the cemetery shopping centers. We didn't say that. He did, Judge said, while pointing to the Lopez mugshot. So this must be like a press conference. This guy's like, I didn't say that. This guy did. While holding up his picture. He complained that in the United States it's difficult in getting human remains to practice his religion. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, it should be difficult to do that. And you should have to prove why you need it. And, like, you should probably have to be a reputable person.
Oh, man.
These are a lot of things to ask of yourself if you're willing to break into something and you see the world outside of a shopping center as your shopping center. So, like, I'm going to guess you have a lot of social issues that make it difficult for you to do a lot of things. And if, like, getting human remains is difficult because it fucking should be, maybe you don't fucking qualify. And maybe you shouldn't. Anthony?
Yeah.
It's been lovely talking to you.
I'm just reading all these comments now. This is just brutal.
That is one of the darkest things that we have discussed on the pod, and I am grateful that you have brought it to my attention.
Oh, this guy was an MMA instructor. What do you know?
Oh no. No. Oh no. At least he's just tell me he's not from Ohio.
No, they're in Florida, so it's good.
Oh, of course, a Florida man.
Yeah.
Anthony, that's enough. Episode 295 has been brought to you not by a Florida man, but by a man from New Jersey and a man from Ohio. We are grateful that you are listening. We are grateful that you have been watching. And soon, I will be on a plane headed to Abu Dhabi. And while we are there, we'll find a way to bring you fresh motherfucking episodes. Because you deserve it, and so do we. For now, I must bid you adieu. Anthony, it's been a motherfucking pleasure.
Yes.
This is Goodbye for Real. Goodbye, Internet.